Welcome to Now and Forever, a series of 10-minute reflections on good news spirituality, sponsored by the Charles and Catherine Free Family Foundation, headquartered in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and brought to you from Our Lady of Sacred Heart Parish here in Watertown, New York. Hello, Vicki. Good to be with you again.
Hi, Father.
And Pat.
Hello, Father.
Nice.
Hello, Vicki.
Okay. We're now into family evangelization. We started off with spirituality and what is a parish, and we went through all kinds of things, and we're finally to family evangelization. This is the second issue on that. So, Vicki, start us off.
It may sound simplistic to base one's entire approach to forming family on a knowledge of the absolute truth that God loves us. Make this proposal to a friend, and you'll probably hear, "Are you out of your mind? Don't you know what kids today are up against in the real world? I mean, just look, the drugs, pornography, consumerism, peer pressure, fads like body piercing, promiscuity, the disappearance of value-based education, militant atheists who publish books and make movies aimed at deceiving the young perverts, who I mean, know what I mean."
Okay. That sounds pretty bad. Hey, Pat, can you add anything more to that, or is that a pretty grim picture, right? Is it true?
Yeah, no, it's true, but
It's not the way to start, right? I mean, you could acknowledge this, but that ain't going to get you very far.
no, but
I mean, you know what I
what
mean.
we have to do, what we're talking about is, what do we do as families? What do we do as a family member, in my case, a father, to prevent some of this stuff from happening within the members of my family or extended family?
Yeah, but now here's the thing. Suppose, let's say you're now going to talk to somebody. You're talking to me, and you tell me, you know, you got an absolute truth, God loves you. And I say to you, what, are you out of your mind? I mean, look at all this problem. You mean to say that's going to solve this problem, that God loves you? And now, okay, Vicki, paragraph number 2.
So how do you respond? First of all, you can agree with the description of the social ills we face today.
Okay.
You might follow up by acknowledging the existence of programs on abstinence, modesty and dress, drug rehab and prevention, porn filters on personal computers, pro-life activities, religious ed classes on the 10 Commandments, and so on. But then you might ask if these programs are actually dealing with the deep-seated ills brought on by secular humanism.
Okay. See, now I think, you know, I'm biased because our founder, Jules Chevalier, what happened in France, you know, in the Age of Enlightenment, and they did a lot of crazy stuff. In 1793, they put the goddess of reason on the high altar in the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. But this, and now this was crazy, you know, it was out of their minds. But Chevalier lived maybe 40 years after that, and he saw that all these ills, what we just saw there, are a consequence of being estranged from God. In other words, if you don't have God in your life and in your culture, all these things happen. Now, a lot of people, when they started to make all these programs, you know, like, you know, we'll do this, and we'll try to do that, and better education, and this, that, and the other thing. What Chevalier thought was, we're going to go to the root cause and solve all those ills right where they begin, the absence of God's love. And that's what he did. And so now I think that's what this is going to. You might ask if these programs are actually dealing with the deep-seated ills brought on by secular humanism, which is you don't have any emotions. You're just just a machine.
So bring this around to say, like, Alcoholics Anonymous, and how they bring God into part of their program.
Yeah, the higher power.
Right. So.
That's similar. That's what it is. Okay, I'm going to do the next paragraph, and then we'll see, Pat, with you the last one, and we'll talk about the whole thing all over again. At this point, some people may begin to see that all of these problems can be traced to the absence of God in human affairs, like I just said, beginning with the family. It may then occur to them that if we are to find a solution to the immorality, injustice, and social disintegration, we'll have to do more than address the consequences. We'll have to bring God back into our lives, beginning once more with the family. Well, I guess we just said that. Okay, Pat, do that last paragraph and we'll talk about the whole deal here to see.
It makes sense to develop programs that target specific ills as long as they take aim at the root cause. The only unqualified evil in the world is separation from God. Now, if your friend should continue to insist that today's world is far too complex for simple solutions, like living in the love of God, ask him what is more inclusive and at the same time more specific than God's love.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's true, but do you think that if I were this skeptic that, like you tell me all that and they say, I don't know. Is that going to do it?
No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think
The
so.
skeptic has to find his own way. You can provide him with all the information.
Oh, okay.
But he's
good point.
literally fighting you though.
Yeah.
He's saying that he's basically saying there's no such thing as faith.
Right.
Period.
That's correct.
There's no faith. So with no faith, you don't have to worry about God's love because you don't have any faith in it anyways.
Yeah.
But you probably don't have any faith in a lot of things when you're that way. Because if you don't think God loves you, how can you think another human being could love you? Or how could you love another human being? It probably isn't there, Father.
That's true. Sartre, one of the existentialist philosophers, well, he's phenomena, I don't know what you'd call him, but he said, homo homini lupus, man is the wolf to man.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
men are just always...
Right. So does the person himself look like himself?
No, he probably doesn't.
No.
So what, here's the thing. So we've done 3 sessions on family evangelization.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is our building block? Not even our building block. How do we set the foundation? What is our foundation going to be? What's our plan of action? How can we assist other people, even ourselves? We try to be by example, but what are we going to cover in our classes here, our talks, that is, here's the block,
that remains to be seen, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part when you're talking to kids. They're hearing you, and they catch glimpses of what you're saying. And really, when I was 15 and 16 years old, I probably was lucky if I caught a glimpse. Okay, but at least the door was open for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It can start out simple. It can start out as simple as the family sitting down to dinner and one of the children saying grace. I mean, it can
It's little
start
things,
so
yeah.
simple. You can light a candle and everybody goes around the table for 10 minutes at
Yeah.
night and says something. I mean, it can start so simple just to light that faith and build on it.
I loved it.
Yeah, you said that earlier, but that's, it's hard to do, but the fact is, that's true, that, you have to start easy. When I know some people in Illinois the kids were partly raised already, and they hadn't really brought Christ into the home. And so they realized, oh, this is a bad mistake. So they wondered, how could we do this? They felt kind of compromised, like they're going to make some admission to their children that, hey, look, I didn't do a very good job in raising you as a child, Mm-hmm. So they said, well, one guy in particular he said, well, you got to start easy, And I said, but one of the first things they wanted to do was make a little shrine in their home, a place where they would have, like a holy picture or something, that would say, hey, look, we do have values here, spiritual Christian values. And that's what you said before. You start in little ways, and then you can begin to draw the family into an awareness that, hey, we do have to start bringing Christ into our lives, into our home.
We have a perfect opportunity, though. You say that, you build a little shrine. There's not many families that don't have some type of crest at Christmas time.
Yeah, right.
So when you take that down, why don't you replace it with something?
Correct.
What could we replace it with? What could a family replace that with? A crucifix, a picture of Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. What could we do? What would be a thoughtful thing?
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of, this is what I would hope to do after we get this thing going, right, is have people that would be interactive. If we really got this on our own website. And by interactive, I mean now they would say, hey, here's something you could do. And they'd make a suggestion like, well, let's have a picture of some saint for this month, and just this saint, let's say Saint the Little Flower.
Right.
And we're gonna just make sure that we come to know her a little better, read stuff about her, and that'd be a good start. Okay, Pat, we'll leave it at that, and we'll thank you very much for listening. And sometime might be interactive. We'll get there sometime.
We'll call
but
you.
Meanwhile, yeah, we'll call you. Meanwhile, take care. God bless, and thanks for listening. We'll see you soon. Bye.